You're deep underwater. It's ice cold, pitch black, and the walls are closing in on you. It sounds nightmarish, but believe it or not, for some, this is a sport, a very dangerous one. Cave diving offers the thrill of exploration, discovering places that no other person has ever seen. That's certainly what attracted Agnes Milowka. But in this remote other world, any mistake can be deadly. At first, you have absolutely no idea what you're in for. In Piccaninny Ponds near Mount Gambier, South Australia, the water is as clear as gin. And soon its mysteries start to be revealed. A limestone chasm formed by fresh water bubbling to the surface over millions of years. Descend this and you enter the cathedral. It's so spectacular, so supernatural, you must remember the first rule of diving. Keep breathing.
For me, it's a sense of flying, of being in crystal clear water and being able to move through the cave and hover in the middle like you're hanging in space.
My guide through this hidden wonder is cave diver and explorer Liz Rogers.
It's about finding out what's around the next corner. Because you really don't know. And if you come off the end of the tunnel and, maybe there's a low section there and you find your way through and then it opens out into a massive chamber on the other side, that feeling is just amazing.
But all this thrilling beauty can come at a price. Underwater caves are very unforgiving places. Not everyone who enters finds their way back out.
My name is Agnes Milowka and I'm an explorer, and I'm going to take you on a series of underwater adventures that you will never forget.
29-year-old Melbourne woman Agnes Milowka was a shining star in this dark world. Tragically, earlier this year, she died while exploring the famous tank cave near Mount Gambier. Extensively mapped over 40 years, all its easy secrets have been revealed. But Agnes instinctively felt there was more to discover despite the dangers.
I guess especially in virgin exploration, there is always a danger because you don't know where you're going, you don't know what's ahead of you, and anything could happen. I mean, your bubbles could dislodge an avalanche. If you're lucky, you'll make it out. If you don't, you won't.
On Sunday, February 27th, Agnes didn't make it out. Diving alone, she became disoriented and ran out of air.
We knew why she was there. She was there because of who she was, and diving was what she did, and cave exploration was what she was good at.
So she always knew that death was a risk.
And it's something you consider in cave diving when you consider your equipment configuration and how you're going to do the dive and what decompression schedule you might be using. So she knew the risks she was taking.
Agnes died more than half a kilometre underground, and it took divers 3 days to bring her body back to the surface. Liz Rogers was in the rescue team. What will you miss most?
I miss having my dive buddy back.
How hard was it for you when her parents turned up?
What can you say to people?
We are parents that lost the child. It will take a long time to recover, I think. Maybe we'll never recover.
Agnes was Chris Milowka's only child. He's shattered, of course, but he's also proud that his daughter had the courage and conviction to enter such an alien world. Agnes was never happy to go to the end of the line and stop, was she?
No. She was always wondering what is there, what more could be done, and there was nothing that could stop her.
Would she have listened if you'd told her to stop?
That's the point. She would probably ignore it. You do not own children.
There are two types of cave divers. There's the weekend tourists who are happy to come and follow the guidelines laid by others. Then you've got explorers like Agnes who get to the end of the line and keep going.
I'm willing to take it to the next level, to push harder for the smallest of restrictions, to go where no one's been before.
Before the accident, Agnes was on the cutting edge of exploration. In one cave system in Florida, she discovered a massive 3 kilometres of new terrain never before seen by man or woman.
She was becoming a grand master as an underwater cave explorer. You would have loved Ag. I mean, she was just so full of life. And look, she'd have you sitting here with story after story after story. Some would have your hair standing on end and you think, my God, you're a gutsy woman. And she absolutely was.
Andrew White is one of Australia's most famous cave explorers. In 1988, he led the Panic and Plains expedition in the Nullarbor, which almost ended in catastrophe after half of his team was caught by a cave collapse.
Well, you know, to the uninitiated, it seems crazy, I must admit. You're going in there, it's dark, it's wet, it's cold, and you might die, and you think that's fun, but it's very seductive and enticing because it's like Pandora's box. You go around one corner, you open up another door, and suddenly you're drawn into this environment.
Andrew first met Agnes on the set of his cave diving epic, Sanctum, which he produced last year.
I haven't done this for a while.
She played the stunt double for Judes, the female lead in the movie. In a pivotal scene, Judes and her dive buddy leave behind their spare tanks to force their way through a tight passage, what divers call a squeeze.
My breath is stuck. My hose is caught.
Finally, they make it through.
My God, would you look at that?
But then, disaster. Judes dies after rupturing her airline. She had no backup air supply. While no one yet knows exactly what happened to Agnes in Tank Cave, she too left behind her spare air tank to push on.
So the decision to leave behind your spare air and continue exploration for, you know, that thrill of being able to be the first person to see something that no one's ever seen before, that's exactly what Agnes was doing when she was exploring Mount Gambier.
There's been some criticism that she was reckless in what she was doing. Is that fair?
She wouldn't have deliberately stuffed herself into the back of a cave to kill herself. You know, anyone that's a high achiever is going to push themselves, and unfortunately the consequences are not great in an underwater cave.
A mistake means death.
Well, I mean, people think I'm trivialising, but I often say there are no accidents in cave diving, just fatalities. And the gravity of that is really meant to sort of shock newcomers to the sport into what they're really dealing with.
So should we put the rig on for this thing now? Yep. Despite all the risks, there have been only 4 cave diving fatalities in Australia over the past 25 years. Quite heavy, aren't they? It's a credit to the training regime all divers must undertake before they can tackle what lies beneath.
And pull. Oh. Beautiful. How do you feel?
I was too exhausted now to get in the water. It's challenging, but then so too is the environment I'm about to enter.
At that point in time, what's going to happen is that one of you will lose an air supply. I'm not going to tell you which one.
Yep.
And at that same time, both masks are going to be removed as well. So you're going to lose visibility and you're going to lose an air supply. The only thing out is that line.
Okay, so don't drop this.
With Liz Rogers as my dive buddy, John Dalazuana is my trainer.
It's called a stress test. Okay?
It's a good name for it.
The water in Goulden's sinkhole is cold and murky. And without warning, my stress test begins. My regulator is taken from me, and while I'm going for my backup air supply, my mask removed. The number one rule here is never let go of the guideline. In caves, it's so easy to kick up silt. You can very quickly lose all visibility. Your guideline is your lifeline.
Okay, great, excellent. You knew exactly what was going on. You were really in tune with what you were doing.
I realise why they call it a stress test, though.
Do you?
I didn't realise you're going to do it to us so quickly. It's like, no, I'm not ready to give up my hair yet.
Thanks to this training, deaths in Australia are the exception, not the rule. And it's impossible to imagine what it would have been like for Agnes, running out of air, all alone, lost hundreds of metres from the surface.
Would she have known at the end there what was going to happen?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, she was very. Yeah, she knew the ins and outs of cave diving very intimately, and you know what's going to happen. It's not a mystery. It's just a matter of how long it takes.
I believe something terrible happened that she couldn't control and she couldn't predict.
Is it hard looking at these pics?
It is a reminder that she was very happy and doing things that she loves.
That must touch you.
Sometimes it's heartbreaking.
It would be criminal for me to say that there are no risks associated with cave diving. The sport of cave diving can see you become a dead diver. There's no gentle way of putting that.
Agnes leaves behind a stunning archive of her exploits. And it's only when you cave dive yourself you begin to realise why people like Agnes and Andrew and Liz do it in the first place. The euphoria of discovery is mixed with the thrill of survival. It's an adrenaline rush.
That is the most amazing thing I reckon I've ever seen. It's pretty cool down there. Come in the back of the cave with the sunlight coming in through the weeds and the blue water. It's really gorgeous. That's why you do it. It's a good reason. I want to go again.
Do you have concerns in respect to Border Force?
I think that they're doing a fantastic job with one arm tied behind their back.
The shocking truth about our broken borders.
That's putting our members' lives and their jobs at risk.
Coming up on 60 Minutes, why we can't protect Australia.
The only reason the crew knew there was a fire was they saw it on CCTV.
Our ships are busted.
If it happened the day before, the whole boat would have gone up.
And our tactics predictable.
He knows the Border Patrol schedule.
Is it any wonder the people smugglers are back in business?
And doing so without any care for the Australian Border Force?
None at all. That's next on 60 Minutes.